In previous videos, we have learned what is psychology and psychological inquiries. Now we will look into the goals of psychological inquiry. Before going into the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you. Like every other subject, the study of psychology aims to achieve specific set of goals. Basically, it has four primary goals: to describe, to explain, to predict, and to change or control behavior. The first goal of psychology is to describe behavior. This goal asks, what is happening, or what is this individual doing? The goal allows researchers to collect information and then describe. And they classify these informations. First, they collect the information and then classify this. And by thoroughly describing the behavior, psychologists can distinguish between normal and abnormal behavior. So they collect the information, they classify the information, and based on that, they distinguish between what is normal and what is abnormal behavior. To achieve this goal, that is to describe a behavior, psychologists use various research methods. They use a variety of research methods. This include survey, case studies, observation, self-assessment test, etc. Just look at an example. Researchers want to learn about consumer behavior. We all purchase things either online or offline. So, the psychologists use market research survey, then direct observation, then other data collection method, etc. to gather information on what people are doing while they shop. All these things are to understand the consumer behavior. So this research gives greater insight into what is really happening in a particular population. So to understand a consumer behavior, the research will collect data to understand what they are doing while they shop. And based on that, they describe the behavior of the consumer. So this is the first goal of psychological inquiry, that is to describe behavior. The second goal of psychological inquiry is explain behavior. It involves attempt to understand how and why the behavior occur. In describing behavior, what we have seen, the researchers study what the individual is doing. Here they study how and why certain individual behave like this in certain situations. Why people behave or react in certain ways, or how certain stimulus may affect the person's mental health, personality, or a relationship, or what are the factors that are contributing to certain behavior of the individual. All these things are studied to explain the behavior. For example, researchers may study why do we listen to music, or why we are reading books, etc. Throughout the psychology's history, many theories have emerged. And these theories, what they do, they help explain various aspects of human behavior. Few examples of such approach include classical conditioning and attachment theories. Some theories are known as mini theories because they just focus on small aspect of human behavior, while some other theories are known as grand theories because they explain all of the human psychology. Now let us consider the example of the consumer behavior. In the first part, we have seen that researchers collect data. That is what the consumer is doing while they are shopping. Now, the researchers collect the data to understand why the consumer purchase certain items. What factors are motivating them to make certain purchase. All these things are studied to explain the behavior of the consumer. The third goal is to predict behavior. We have understood that in describe behavior, we learned what happens, and in explain behavior, we learned why it happens. Now, we can use that information to make predictions about when, why, and how it might happen again in the future. Making predictions based on how people previously thought and acted. Then analyzing the past observed behavior. That is, how the people thought and acted previously. All these things are studied and they analyze the data they gathered. And based on that, they predict that when might this behavior can occur again in the future. Let us again consider the example of the consumer behavior. The psychologists use the information they collected to try to predict what the consumer will purchase next. So now they know what the consumer purchased and why they purchased. Now they can predict what they will purchase in future. The businesses and the marketers, they often employ consumer psychologists to make such predictions so that they can create products that will attract the buyers. The final goal is to change or to control behavior. Most importantly, psychology makes effort to change, influence or control behavior to make constructive and lasting changes in people's lives. Here the question arises, how can it be changed? That is, how an individual's behavior can be changed. Previously gathered data about human behavior are used to influence, change or control behavior. Changes can be brought in three ways. One is making a particular behavior happen. Second is reducing a particular behavior, and third is enhancing a particular behavior. So in three ways we can change an individual's behavior, that is to incorporate a new behavior in an individual or to reduce a negative or a bad behavior in an individual and then enhancing a positive or a good behavior in individual. So in these three ways psychologists can change a person's behavior. For example, in psychotherapy, the cognitive behavioral therapy, they identify and change negative and harmful thinking pattern. And it can bring about positive changes in life, such as decreasing addictive behavior, reducing depressive symptoms, or improving communication. Marketers and businesses often use the understanding gained from psychological research to influence and persuade buyers to behave in certain ways. A quick recap. We have learned the 4 goals of psychological inquiry. to describe a behavior, what are they doing? That he studied. In explaining a behavior, why are they doing that and the factors influencing the behavior is studied. And in predicting a behavior, when might this behavior occur again in future is predicted based on the previous behavior. Then changing. How a behavior can be changed. How a positive change can be bring about. So this is about the 4 goals of psychological inquiry. Hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends. Thank you and keep smiling.